Got to keep up the reputation and that, you know what I mean, chat? Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV. Welcome to another show where I chat garbage, you chat facts. It's actually vice versa. Let's just be honest, chat. I try to be nice to you, but come on, I am the man of wisdom in this presence. But no, seriously, thank you for everyone who's tuned in. We're here to cause a lot of controversy. I'm here to wind yous up, and I'm here to get a water because my mouth's dry as frick. Leave your comments. Let's get active. Yeah, let's just have a boss time, mate, because I'm here for an hour. I've got a guest coming on in half an hour, so it's Louis, who's a Chelsea fan. He's going to be jumping on in half an hour. We'll talk about Liverpool and mix it up with the Chelsea stuff, with the players that they've been selling. We'll talk about their owner situation as well to really establish whether or not there's something fishy going on there or if Todd Bowley's just dead smart. I love the way we've started off this stream with 100 people. I do believe that we've been growing more and more over the weeks, and it's boss to see all of you tuning in. I was just live with Rants as well, so if anyone's tuned in from there, big up yourselves, and let's get into the comments, yeah? And then we'll delve into the first topic, which is about Szoboszlai and Thuram. Strong Figo. Louis Benevento. Oh, he has an Italian second name that I always forget, but he'll be in about half an hour. He's a Chelsea fan. He's on Rants' channel sometimes. If you're not familiar with him, you will be at the end of the show. Everyone smash the like. Big up to Johnny. Johnny, not tonight's show, but tomorrow's show will get you back on, lad. No doubt about it, but just because only got about an hour slot. James, Liverpool have come out in the last hour and said, we have hit a big financial loss and not much to spend on players, mate. They need to go. So wait there, Paul. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but where's your source? Because I'd love to talk about this more, as it's not surprising with all the players that we've let go for free and all of the, let's call it, whether you want to call it inappropriate or unprofessional transfer decisions that we've made recently. But it depends what has come out in the past couple of hours and said this, you know what I mean? But anyway, chat, one thing that's very, very interesting, and this will also be something that we can hold against the owners and against the board if these transfers don't happen. Two things right now, right? Two things. We're linked with Thuram and we're linked with Szoboszlai. Now, both of these players, one, I can nearly enough guarantee that both of them want to come to Liverpool. Now, Thuram has been pretty open about it, and I feel like Szoboszlai has been pretty open about it. So we've got the substance and the source from the player itself that they want to join the club. Now, I also know one of them's got a release clause. I also know one of them plays for Nice. Now, these two clubs are not teams that we can't play about with. We can pay the release clause for Szoboszlai, and then we can go out there for Thuram, and then we can go and spend 30 to 40 million, which is what they'll be asking for. These are two additions that would significantly and adherently improve our midfield and add to our system, and it gives us options. So the point I'm leading to and the premise of the title is that both players want Liverpool. They have came out and said they want Liverpool. Thuram has implied he wants Liverpool, so I don't want to be as certain with him. But I know Szoboszlai wants Liverpool, right? I've also believed he said he's not wanting to go to Newcastle, which is huge when you consider the financial competition that now gets rid of, if that's true, and if they was actually linked, which I don't think he was. But the point that I'm leading to is that if FSG don't get these players, of course, you can make up the excuses about finances, and this is why this comment is good for what I'm talking about. But I just don't see many excuses. How you've built all the revenue up through the football club. Because someone made a good point earlier that the owners can't just go out and put their own money into the football club with FFP. And if they can, it's only a certain amount, I believe. But the thing that annoys me is the fact that you're suggesting the money that we generate is going to be or the things we've took in place. So the stadium, yes, we will make a long-term profit off the stadium, but that's not a right here, right now. And that was about 200 million, I believe. Also, it was a loan. So it's one of those things where you've put the club in debt for that. And I don't know how much of that debt is paid back, but that's just one thing. We're in a short-term smart decision. It's never bad to expand Anfield. That weren't my issue. But if you didn't have the on-the-pitch stuff sorted, then I think that's a bit of an issue as well. You know what I mean? So I'm not just saying the on-the-pitch stuff solely. Just all round, there's a lot of decisions that have been incompetently made, and we need to improve on that. Paul says, Anfield's watchmates are okay. Look it up. Mate, it's over numerous sites. You will see it soon. 135 mil-ish for all three with McAllister would really make our squad look much stronger. I agree. I think all three of them are players that we need. Jungle says, I don't like Thuram much, to be honest. You know what? I'm in similar parties with you, to be honest, Jungle. I think there's things he can improve on for sure. But everyone's going with the notion that, you know, maybe he's not the right here right now, but he's the guy in 3 to 4 years. And this is why I'll argue the same way I will with a specific someone else who will not be mentioned for the sake of viewership, right? Because when the name gets mentioned, viewership decreases. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. It's Darwin Núñez. But either way, if you don't focus on the right here right now, I've said it before, that means you're neglecting the right here right now, which is a huge issue for teams who are supposedly wanting to compete. Troy says, all these Liverpool channels are complaining of things they don't know to be true. This is why I asked the source. Just let things play out before complaining. It's annoying to see the complaining before anything is done. Oh, Troy, do you want to come in the show? Troy, if you want to come in the show and have a little discussion, you don't have to show your face then. Feel free. I'd love to really sink my teeth into this juicy comment, but I'd love to do it to your face or your profile photo. I'm not asked, me, Troy. By the way, big up to yourself, because you're going to get a lot of shit for that opinion. And I'm sure when you go on platforms, you get fans maybe saying, like, oh, yeah, you're just a top red. I respect it, but I still haven't analysed the substance of why you're saying this shit. And that's what it is shit. You're telling me all these Liverpool fan channels complaining they don't know to be true. First of all, what do I not know to be true? How do I come on? Oh, Troy, do you want to? Yeah, Troy, if you have got Instagram or Twitter, send me a message on Instagram or Twitter. I will then send you a StreamYard link. It's not seedy. You just have to put your bank details in when you get in, all right? It's a joke. The real gist is you just click on the link, put in your name, and then you can enter, and it's sound. So if you want to message me on one of those platforms, come in and expand on the point that you've just made. I'd really love to. You find very few FSGM fans on this channel, so I'd be really... Or FSG defenders. Maybe you're not FSGN. I don't want to label yet, but FSG defenders. You know, the FSG matrix, if you will. You know what I mean? The agents of the matrix. Not allowed to complain when the window's open, because anything can happen. The thing is, I could have responded to that point immediately, but I'm just really up for an in-depth discussion. I'm not going to lie to you. Just one of those things where he sounded very passionate about that, and he sounded like he had an issue with the fan channels, which is more than fair if he has a point, and that's why I want to explore his point. I'm just going to double check if I can find said gentleman. Troy, have you sent me a message? And if so, chat, let me know if he sent me a message, because I do most certainly want to get him in the chat and see if he's got any logical points, because chat, he might be right. Maybe we're all worrying about a story in which is false. But the point where you cannot get upset at Liverpool fans, and this is where I really struggle, is when you sit there and say, oh, you cannot complain overall. Well, why? Because I'd suggest there's been multiple transfer windows that have been underperforming transfer windows. I'd expand on that point by adding and including 2 of the last 3 seasons. We've barely scraped top 4, if not got top 4. So it's a tough one. Nowhere is the IG page. Just type in James Redmond _ 97. James Redmonds _ 97. Just send me a message saying hi. I don't know what your name will be, but I know it'll be a recent message, so I'll look out for it. Dear Hus, I'm gonna actually start this one. I'm gonna start this one. I want to thank you for the super chat, but I also just wanted to stay on topic for a brief moment, and then I will get to this. But yeah, I do think that fans have every right to be upset at the ownership that they've been seeing. I think the financial complacency on transfers, with the simultaneous want to go and compete, it doesn't align. It just does not align. You know, you sit there in one sentence. James has made this video 4 times this week. It's facts, Frank, but I've got to repeat it for people because they miss context or they don't fully understand the point. So I have to reinforce this point every single time. And in terms of the Thuram and Szoboszlai news, it's different every day. There's news updates every day on it. So give me a break. I'm trying to be a daily YouTuber. You know what I mean, chat? By the way, chat, are you proud of me? Can I get a mini round of applause? Did you know that I've done 30 days in a row? Nah, that's a lie. It's been about 27 days in a row, but that's still sick for Hammers. To go months and months and months of not uploading to just upload every day. You're telling me that's not some big muscle shit? Come on. I've been doing my weights again as well recently, chat. Get on these. I'm only doing a lightweight at the moment because, chat, I used to be a stocky little fucker, yeah. I did used to be a stocky little fucker and I could do bigger weights, but, you know, recently, as you can see, look at me arm, skinny as anything, and I'm more blurry. Oh, I ate my camera, you know, chat. It's so annoying. Right, I'm back. So basically, right, I've been trying to get chesty again, yeah, and I'm like doing some of these exercises at the moment, right? Obviously with a bit more form and a bit more concentration because I'm live, and then I'm doing a few nice little sit down, you know what I mean, chat. But at the moment, I've only got like 5 kgs. Do you reckon that's an all right little weight, or do you reckon that's too light? Do you think that's like? Do you think pussies only lift this weight, or do you think it's a good one to get back into? Little 2.5 kgs on each side and that. Just like a little warm-up. Because, chat, I'll be honest, I haven't even been going to the gym or nothing, so I need to ease back into it, and I'm not necessarily a PT. Yeah, obviously, it's my chest you've done, nut. I'm trying to improve my chest, but I haven't just been doing that. I've been doing loads, lads, you know what I mean? Obviously, I need to get the chest up as well, because I've got, you know what I mean? Like, I've got big nipples for the start, not to be TMI or nothing, but, you know, like baby fat ones, I don't know what it is. It's just something to do with the genetics. It's weird. But I'm trying to get the top half to be more, you know what I mean, like a skydiver, like, you know, just hang over so it looks a little bit more presentable, let's say. Because right now, lads, it just looks like I've just got too many tits and I'm not really into it, you know, chat. I want to just look fucking, I want to look like I'm like if you know, I just want to look boss, essentially, is the point I'm getting to. But enough off my physique. Let me see if Troy has messaged, as he did have a claim that he made before. It doesn't look like he's messaged me. Oh, don't be a pussy. Oh, Troy, you're a pussy. You're a pussy. You never even messaged me, lad. Yeah, you're a pussy, you lad. James, what can you deadlift? Oh, nah, I don't do shit like that. Like, the only training I usually do is boxing and stuff like that. I've only really been getting into me weights over the past week. And I want to get back into me boxing soon because I was doing that for a couple of years. But I don't know as well. I've been thinking about like getting into like the YouTube boxing scene. Not even just to do boxing. I'd do it like for a laugh and that, no doubt. But like even just to add to it, like I don't know, if they wanted me to do anything on there, mate, I'd evaluate the job they'd want me to do and I'd do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Troy isn't going to come into the chat. Also, I've got to send the link to Louis because he's going to be coming in 15 minutes. And we're going to talk about Chelsea. So until then, we'll delve more into your comments. But while I'm just sending this link, it'd be amazing if you guys could smash a like and even leave a little... Wait there. It's a live chat, so no, you can't leave a comment. But if you're watching it back, leave a comment. Improve the algorithm. Right, let me get to that super chat. Shout out to Dayhoos. He says, Thuram is a monster, Hammers. Come on! Genie but taller. I'm not too sure if he's Genie but taller. I mean, I understand what you're saying. He's a physical presence in the midfield, right? And although he's a physical presence in the midfield, and that is something that we need, it doesn't mean, you know, for instance, Bobby Lashley from the WWE is physical, but he can't play footy. And the point that I lead to is that I see a lot of deficiencies in Thuram's game and a lot of holes and just essentially a player that's very raw. And I always lead to the point, Dayhoos, is that if a player is not ready right here, right now, then you're neglecting the right here, right now, and that's a problem. We can't do that again, especially not in the midfield position, which is so vital and so important. Let's call a spade a spade. Thuram might be good, and he might be good now, and he might be world-class in a couple of seasons. But I'll tell you this right now, is he the difference? If he's your only other midfielder, is he the difference of you getting fifth? Sorry, guys, I'm taking the mic here. Is he the difference of you getting fifth and first? Because I'd like to assume you are one of the fans, Dayhoos, who would like to get back into a title race next season. If you agree with that sentiment, then you would also agree we need to get the right here right now. And if you think that Thuram is the right here right now, I struggle with that concept. I'm not going to lie to you, sir. What's this about FSG? All of a sudden are financially restricted this summer. They were not restricted when spending on players for the Red Sox team, no joke. And here's the score, guys. They lie to you. I don't know how else I can say this in a more transparent way. If these financial struggles do so happen to be true, then they know that this has been coming up. Now, no one's just going to go out and openly put the financial business out there. But yes, the Liverpool fans have a right to know before the transfer window if we're going to have enough resources. Don't give me specifics on funds, but enough resources to actually improve this squad in the way that we're going to need to achieve the league titles. And the reason why that's important, that they give us an implication at least, which they haven't done, is simply by saying, or simply by just coming out and being transparent. So then we're not going to go out and spend the money you want to charge on a team that is supposedly competing for the league, but you're not doing things to compete for the league. So why are we spending money to go and watch a team that's not fighting for the league? It's insincere thingios, and people will call me, a glory hunter. Oh, you just go to the games when we're winning. No, but if you go and travel halfway across the world to go and see a team that's not good enough, but you go because of the credibility of the crest and not what the owner's done, then that's the owner's taking the piss out of your finances. Don't you understand that? It's not the people's club, it's the owner's club. You might think it's your club, but it's not. It's literally signed to a bunch of Americans. The fans don't fund the football club. Therefore, when they make decisions that we invest into, we have a right to have a say on those decisions. So when someone comes to me and says, James, YouTubers complain too much and YouTubers shouldn't do this, I actually think it's quite admirable. And you know what? Like, quite good that you see YouTubers coming out on platforms and saying, like, look at the bad side and not just what the media tell you. It's the same right now in open media. We know that main media platforms can be insincere. The same way that journalists and sports media outlets, they have to get headlines. And to get headlines, they need to create stories. And we've also all agreed that corruption's in football, therefore they can control the narrative to some degree. And if they can do all those things, then what are we even fighting about? We need to be better. We need to be better cheaters. If we can admit everyone in the Premier League are cheaters. I hate this moral compass that Liverpool fans seem to have, because there's two things here, right? So you've got the bodies, the controlling bodies of football, which is UEFA and FIFA and the Premier League, for instance, right? Or the FA, should I say. And then you've got the Saudi people coming into the league and the Roman Abramoviches and the Todd Bowleys. And then this is the reason, right? So you're either agreeing with one or the other. We all agree that these sporting bodies are bullshit. The rules and regulations they create aren't great. VAR not great. Some of the rules doesn't make sense. Therefore, we can't fully align with their rules and regulations. So when we're not agreeing with their rules and bear with me, when we're not agreeing with their rules and regulations in one aspect, but we're calling them cheaters on another aspect based off of their premise, we're calling Saudis cheaters based on these fucks' premise. So people we disagree with in UEFA or FA or whoever are disagreeing with Saudi. So we're calling Saudi cheaters off the premise of these guys who we don't agree with. Do you understand the contradictive logic? I'm not trying to say anything other than what Johnny's saying here, which is we are crap cheaters. If you think we have got a full moral compass, then you're strange. There's always where there's competition and where there is money, there is corruption. And I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, you've got to look into the things like the inhalers and stuff like that. Our squad was abnormally over the amount of inhalers, and then we came out and said something like, oh, we were just trying to try something new. That was a loophole that I'm not even saying that helped us or that's why we got successful. But then whatever you do, if you find it within the loopholes, you become better cheaters, because everyone's cheaters. Derby County cheated, which is why what happened to them happened to them. Teams in conference cheat. Players are paying managers to get more appearances so they can get bonuses. Believe me, there is corruption in football. And if you don't believe that, I sincerely apologise. And I'm actually, to some degree, proud that you have such a pure worldview. But I've seen these things firsthand. I've seen evidence of these things happening. And therefore, you've got to look at it differently. So FSG are playing the game of corruption. They're playing the game involved in a game with cheaters who find loopholes. If you're worse than them at it, that's a big problem. And if you're a fan and you have a problem supporting that game, then yes, go and support a team in the conference. But let me let you know, there's still corruption there as well. It's about who does it best. You've got to know how to play the game, chat. If you ignore on how to play the game or the premise to play the game, then you're going to lose the game, and we're losing miserably right now. And for a club the size of Liverpool, that's a big, big shame, because we could really, really maximise the crest that we have and the history that we've got. But instead, it sounds like we're in financial struggles. James, who would you rather have, Mark Way or Levi Colwill? I'm more of a fan of Levi Colwill, but I'd be happy with either or. They're both good young centre-backs. Research flat earth, he is saying. Research everything, chat, honestly. Research everything. Go and get your own concept, because if you disagree with, a premise that an authoritative figure has made, then you've got to look into it and find out who should you be listening to. And that's what led me to Jesus, pretty much. People are like, oh, you believe in a fantasy? It's like, no, like, it just, the way I determine evidence is like probably same how you'll determine evidence, which is text, facts, and bullet points. And it's just a case that biblically, the Bible has a lot of things that aligns with it. So when you recognize the evil, you recognize the good. When you recognize the corruption, you recognize that you need to compete with it. Just one of those things, you know what I mean? Just one of those things. But guys, do smash a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. Let's bring up some new topics because I'm always talking about FSG and corruption, and I feel like we're all just becoming conspiracy theorists in time. You know what I mean? So we'll delve in and out of these type of conversations for people who are new to the channel. What am I doing here? Why is it doing that? I wouldn't mind owners who aren't rich, who aren't as rich as like City, but are really passionate about the club. Exactly. You don't need to be state-owned to be a good run football club. Let me talk, James. You're killing me. I should be the weatherman of this show. Nah, I'm sorry, lads. I'm sorry. We'll make sure to get you back on tomorrow, Johnny. Don't worry. You haven't lost your place. Book of Genesis, if you know, you know. No, you know. Hey, pick up yourself, Sid. I like that one. I'm quite worried for the future under FSG, if I'm honest. With Klopp leaving in 25-26, I highly doubt the year after this they'll invest knowing Klopp is leaving. Agree. I think that's a possibility. I think if FSG are looking to sell the club, they're going to be doing it off of a basis, knowing they've got a comfortable cushion in Jurgen Klopp until what happens. And I do think Jurgen Klopp is that safety net. And James, can't Jesus help us? He can help everyone in this chat, honestly. He loves us all. But unfortunately, you know, it's like, do you know when people blame Jesus for something? Like if Liverpool goes wrong, it's like, are you going to blame the builder or are you going to blame the vandalizer? And in this case, FSG is the vandalizer. So now that we've recognized the mistake, in the name of Jesus, now we have to act on it. Come on. James, why did Saudi even go and buy Newcastle? That's like buying Everton. That's a big. To be fair, Everton's bigger than Newcastle, and it's not even close. All respect to Newcastle, but yeah, I don't know. Probably because they were available, and it was like an exciting little club, weren't it? James, let me teach you South African slang. I'm not saying that. You're a Nelson. Shout out to you, Nelson, but I don't trust you, Nelson. I was told never to trust strangers. Chat, what's he trying to get me to say there? I'm so tempted to say it, but I'm not going to. Because I don't understand why out of nowhere you just want to teach me. Wow, that's crazy. Out of all the words in South African, you went with that. You went with, wow, that's crazy. Seedy business, blood. Anyone else actually just tired and had enough of all this negativity each day? FSG are ruining the club and will be ruining the season through the transfer window. They need money, so sell up. Well, yeah, let's analyse the atmosphere of the football club. Pre-Klopp, and now the time that Klopp isn't getting backed. Pre-Klopp, the fans were the way they are now. Now, we're back to that place. So how come there's those cycles and how come it can't just be, well, don't worry, we're just going through a bad patch, but we know our owners, we know what they're capable of, and we know they'll come back. The same way when back in the day, you had Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley running the football club, and even when we went 7 years under Shankly not winning anything, the fans knew, no, this is the guy who's going to take us forward. This is the guy who's going to improve us. This is how we're going to get better because we're going to believe in him. It's someone who cares about the club. That love that we talk about, it's someone who loves the clubs first. So even if he makes a mistake, he's going to do everything to correct it. Whereas when FSG make a mistake, they do everything to hide it. They don't do everything to correct it. They do everything to hide it. So while you're worrying about, well, Keita's never playing, they're like, don't worry. We've got Curtis Jones coming through the academy. Here you go. Start doing the Curtis Jones Everton goal on repeat. And I like Curtis Jones. I'm just saying these are the type of things that they do. Oh, we're not getting a midfielder this window. Oh, Oxlade gets injured. Oh, welcome, Arthur. We needed you all along. We're so happy to have Arthur on board because Arthur's a great world-class midfielder who is definitely going to be the difference of missing out on a Champions League and Premier League to getting you to win those trophies. Understand the logic. FSG don't realise football has changed a lot in the past 5 years. You either adjust and get on the conveyor, I think that's what it says, belt or conveyor belt, I'm not too sure, or the trophies will fall away. Jack, good point. Good point. Even though I couldn't pronounce that word, I knew what you were trying to say. James, I would never put you in the mud, mate. You are my favourite YouTuber. Relax. Nelson. Even from that, I don't trust you. But I love you, Nelson, and I appreciate the saying. James, would you rather, or who would you rather have as our next manager? The idea is so much can happen between now and 2026. I'll tell you now, the next manager I want doesn't exist right now. Chat, is that a W or an L? The predecessor to Klopp right now is a manager we don't know about. It's not. It will not be. I would highly doubt it's going to be someone we know right now as a big, big name. I'm trying to think of an example of someone who's just burst on the scene like over the years. I don't know, but just do you know, like when a manager comes out of nowhere, like Tuchel when he went to Dortmund, like didn't know anything about Tuchel. Then you get Tuchel. I think the guy that we get is going to be a guy we don't know about now. I don't think it's going to be a Simeone or someone in the Premier League. I think it's going to be a guy we do not know about. It is one of those things. It is one of those things. De Zerbi. What's De Zerbi done? Okay, then. Got Europa League with Brighton once off that same premise. I mean, you're not far off wanting Graham Potter, you know what I mean? Because he nearly done it with them as well. Eddie Howe. If Eddie Howe goes to, do you know what? Not a bad shout if Eddie Howe goes to Newcastle, does well, but not well enough because their standards have increased, so he gets sacked. Maybe you see something there, but like, then I'll go back to the question: do you think he will be the right manager to replace Jurgen Klopp? Because I don't think so. I think he's done well with Bournemouth and all them, and I think if anyone's got the potential, it's maybe him. But to say right now, we'll never get Hansi Flick. Someone just said Hansi Flick. We're not getting him. Rafa Benitez. Chat, honestly, and if I see W's, that's a big shame. Chat, would you take Rafa Benitez back? W for yes, L for no. Because as much as I like Rafa Benitez, I do think we need to come to the compromise that with these owners, he's not going to be able to maximise these resources in the squad. Xabi Alonso or Nagelsmann? I don't know. A lot of these are just no, L, W, some W's. Would you? Was that A Mane? Why would you take him back seriously? And are you being deadly honest there? Would you actually take him back? Like wholeheartedly from the bottom of your heart? That is wild. Louis is going to come on the show in a second, by the way. He's going to join in a minute. A few more questions. And if we can smash those likes and keep them going up, that'd be absolutely grand as well. Pep Linders has studied under Klopp. Yeah, but Pep Linders is also not Klopp. I don't know. There's even people who have brought up the idea that if Klopp's contract finishes, then if we get a sabbatical or if we give him a sabbatical, then he can go away for a little bit and then come back and then we can work around that. But I'm not too sure. I just don't want him to go. But we have to see how the next couple of years unfold. Love Rafa Benitez, but needs to prove himself all over again, unfortunately. Yeah, my brother doesn't have the time to do that, man. Doesn't have the time. We should all agree Darwin was a bad signing, says Anthony. So before you, Darwin Núñez, have a fucking go at me, this is Anthony's opinion. He is way out of his league and will never be first-team quality at a prime club. WRL, that's a very, very controversial opinion in the eyes of a lot of the JRTV viewers. And even though you know my stance, I want you to be able to get your stance forward. WRL. I'm not even going to go into this topic because you know what I'm saying. But I'll let you decide on that one. James, have you got the tactics to win us the league? I haven't got experience to determine whether or not I'd be good enough to win us the league for sure. But I'd give it a go. Guys, James Redmond for manager, yes or no? WRL. By the way, everyone's saying L to that opinion. Are you on to how many Darwin Núñez nut riders there are in this chat? Because that's all you are, chat. And it's fine that you are. It's okay. You forgot your standards of strikers at the football club, which is okay. But do remember, like, I encourage you. It's good because you know, sounds like you're young and you've got YouTube and you know how to use it. Therefore, go watch Luis Suarez compilations and Torres and Michael Owen and all them. Boss, you know. Boss. Do a side by side next to Núñez and tell me what you're saying. Know what I mean, chat? Oh, my days, fam. We have Jay Speenham back to help us say FSG. Jay Speenham, what a legend. Dominic or not, would you agree Thuram is the most important player for us to acquire this window? His skills resemble a forward, but his build suggests force from box to box, the perfect player for Jurgen. I don't know. I think you're overrating his on-the-ball ability a slight amount. But, I mean, listen, what he could become into for sure. But I'd rather Dominic if I could choose out of both and then still go with the option of a defensive midfielder because we do need a defensive midfielder. And Thuram isn't a defensive midfielder, but he's more physical, as people have mentioned. But I want someone who's either one of those two things. They've got to have good defensive attributes, and That's just the be-all and end-all. Scouse Gamer says, I love Nunes, but Suarez was better and did it better. I don't think Nunes will be as good as Suarez, but recently in the modern times, Bobby Firmino all day, every day, and twice on Sundays until he retires over Nunes. Until he retires over Nunes. What do you mean by the last part? What do you mean by the last part? I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Oh, I hate it when it does that automatic zoom thing. Let me reset. Boom, shakalaka. Okay, if you believe the reports, why are we willing to pay 300 million for Mbappe, but not willing to rebuild what we actually need, our midfield? If you are to believe in those reports, then yes, that would be sensible logic, but I don't believe in those reports. And I certainly don't think we've got 300 million to improve the squad to the point that we won't do. Thuram is a good player, but he's very raw. That's all I see. A raw talent and not one for the right here right now. Arteta or Emery, if they were LFC candidates, obviously would never happen. Chat, who would you go with? I mean, stylistically, I'm more preference towards Arteta. I've seen he can play good football. I go with Arteta, me. I know Emery is the better manager on paper and he's won the more trophies. But he's never been a league winner. I know Arteta's never been a league winner, but in a way he has because he was still at City and you've shown when he gets the resources he can do well, or if he gets given young players, he can build a project. So I'll probably go with that because I think Unai Emery needs, he'd be like Rafa Benitez type manager. Like he'd get us in the top four, maybe push us towards those conversations, but I don't think he'd ever be the guy to take us first all the time. And not that Mikel Arteta would. Plus, by the way, I've just thought of the idea. Mikel Arteta at Liverpool, fuck that. Let's go with Unai Emery. I don't mind hearing good evening every fucking weekend. You know what I mean? That'd be sound. Instead of Mikel Arteta going out and playing friggin' before we go to Goodison. Ah, fuck that. Just I don't know. I like Arteta though, in all seriousness. If you're an Arsenal fan and you think I hate Arteta, and you're right, as a player. We have to buy 300. Yeah, that's never happening. That is never, ever happening. I'll tell you that for free. Shout out to Will, I love you more. Mikey says he'll fail due to unrealistic expectations too early on. I think the fans are actually at fault to why Nunes is getting the criticism right now because it's based off your standards that you set for him. That why now people, when he doesn't score 20, like the guy scored 9 Premier League goals. Like if I told you he was going to score 9 Premier League goals at the start of the season, you'd say that's bad. And it'd be nowhere near towards what you were saying. You were like, no, he's going to get 20 goals. He'll get 25 goals. So how come now it hasn't happened and we're not giving it? Like how come no one's at least conceding he's not as good as I thought he was? People proceed to say alternatively, okay, like he's going to end up being boss because he doesn't speak English and apparently that translates to good finishing if he can say hello opposed to hola and he needs to build confidence even though we were saying Nunes when he was missing sitters and I don't know, like he's young even though he's 23, 24, like I understand that's still young, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why it's like such a controversial opinion to like question Nunes. That's why I bring it up. It's one to wind people up, but it's because I actually agree with it. And because I agree with it, I'm trying to see why you don't agree with it. I'm being honest, chat. I'm really not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to. The reason why I bring it up is because I'm hoping one day there's going to be that one person who comes to me and says, yeah, Nunes is boss because of this, and I just don't see it. James, season ticket holder, 17 years travelling, every game from Bristol. Gee, shout out to you, sir. I despise these owners. They lie. They are cheap. They are the Super League and the Super League was the end of the line for me. Mark, me and you were on the same page. That's exactly what I would say if I only had a certain amount of characters to say it. James, Tuesday, United fans blocked the entrance to their megastore and protested. I saw that. Chat, did you see that as well? That was very interesting, I'm not going to lie to you. These guys are not giving up on getting rid of the Glazers. We need to do the same. But think FSG aren't as stubborn to sell as them. Oh no, Glazers are stubborn little bastards. They are most certainly stubborn. And they don't care about protests, but we don't even try. At least United fans can sit there with dignity and say they've tried. We do not have that same dignity because we don't have a problem with the owners. You know, you can say you have a problem with the owners the same way you have a problem with with not being fit. But it doesn't matter that much, therefore it can't be too much of a problem. So you're still going to keep ordering food the same way that they're going to keep doing what they're doing, because they're making money, and that's all they're here to do, is to make money. So if they're not here to improve the community or build a more atmospheric surroundings, which we did do under Klopp, and you've got to give some testament to FSG because they employed Klopp. But otherwise, in terms of their, out of their own pocket, what have they done to add to not just Liverpool, but everything around Liverpool? It just shows to me it's insincere love. And that's why when you think of the biggest events that have happened with FSG, it's been really, very rarely good ones. And that's where I have an issue when you have owners like that. And yeah, Liverpool is Joe near Joel in Joe Post in. Did I just say something mad, chat? Did I just say something mad in? I don't want to say where it looks Asian or something, but I don't want to give a specific. Did I just say something? What does that mean? Siraj. Well, where's that from? I'm so confused. I don't know if I'm cancelled in a country. You know what I mean? Like now, if I go to this country, am I just gonna get punched dead? My head punched in or something? Oh, I'm confused, chat. I'm confused. Can we smash our like, please? Because I think that might be the last like before I get cancelled. James, we will both join the Super League too. Look at City money, isn't it? Right there. James, we will both join the Super League too. Look at City money, isn't a thing. Oh, I'd never join the Super League. Come on, Johnny. Don't take the piss. Don't throw me in that pit fire with you fool. That's absolutely ludicrous. James, Luis Diaz is the best Colombian import since cocaine. Yet, no fella pride hand. That's quality, fam. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Oh, my days. No, right. That was perfect time, and Louis got to hear that joke as well. That was a great comment. Yeah, Louis is going to be in the stream. I'll let you know that he was here. Let me give him a proper introduction. Sorry, Louis, I had something prepared for you, but I fucked it now. Why am I the postman? Because I always fucking deliver. If I bring a guest, best believe it's one of quality and credibility. In today's show, you're not just joined with the grace and the presence of James. You are also joined by the one Italian stallion, Mr. Louis Beneventi. Hello, sir.
I'm still creasing at that comment.
That's wild. That's wild. That's wild. That was brilliant.
Since cocaine. I'm just.
I weren't expecting it either.
Oh my God! Apologies.
I weren't expecting it either. That was the greatest example and time that you could have walked in on my chat. That is my chat in its best form. That is my chat in its best form.
I heard that. I was like, that's fantastic. It's just.
Welcome to JRTV, Louis.
Mate,
first time and first impression.
It is, yeah. We've done a few Instagram lives, haven't we?
We have done.
Yeah.
We have.
It's
Instagram's for losers. We need to do the proper stuff, proper YouTube shows. You know what I mean, Louis? Let's get our feet stuck in.
That's a very good point, because I should probably start uploading again at some point. That would probably be quite helpful.
I would suggest that, especially from the intrigue that I have on your opinions and the entertainment value that you'll bring. I think it'd be very, very beneficial to the YouTube scene of content creators and fans if you came back. All right. Let's stop being cringy now. Shut the fuck up, Louis. Let me shut the fuck up. LJ says how James goes from the most absent to the most consistent YouTuber in the game. Crazy consistency, bro. Love that. I'm just that guy. You know what I mean? There was only one difference. It weren't me. It was Jesus. That's just the way it is, chat. I'm just letting you know right here, right now.
Stop. You just compared yourself to Jesus.
No. I'm saying
does
Jesus.
That make me I was going to, because they said, does that make me your dad? Because, obviously that's kind of how this works. Like, just checking.
Oh, I see. Oh, so now you're throwing the digs into me now, Louis? Is this the way the show? Is this the premise?
Great. Okay. We've known each other a little while now. Okay.
We have.
I literally greeted you.
I know for sure that you're a bell end, yes.
Yeah. But you're a bell end as well, so it's okay. I personally, I'd use a different word, but then I don't want to affect your monetization. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because all I'll say with that is I am one of those, and yes, I am what I eat. So apart from that, it's moving swiftly on. Let that just settle. But I mean, put it this way: the way I greeted James the other day was by saying, for his birthday. Happy birthday, you little slag. And that was the first message since November 2021. So, yeah, nearly 2 years, and I call him a slag. Apart from that.
Absence of a 2-year conversation and slag is the first word. That just shows what a good friend is. I feel, chat, always remember, if you're friends and you do not have the same energy after you've not seen each other for a long time, are they really your friend? Exactly I don't know what, you know what I mean, Louis? It's one of those things, brother. Do you know what else is one of those things? Corruption.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
You're a Chelsea fan.
Right. Are we not going to talk about the fact that Man City have just taken 30 million quid and Pep's probably going to leave, according to Telegraph?
No, because I've got an agenda and you're a Chelsea fan and you are cheaters. Now let's talk about it. In fact, Louis, before we delve into it, what do you know about that situation? Because you might know more than me.
What about the corruption or about City?
The City thing, the City thing.
So, according to the Telegraph this evening, Pep might, obviously that Pep said that thing, if he finds out anything else, he's probably going to leave City. Pep might be on the verge of Manchester City because it's come out that Manchester City took £15 million payment, so 30 million total twice. Wait, let me rephrase. City took a £15 million payment in 2011 and a £15 payment in 2013 to make up for the lack of sponsorship they're receiving from the main sponsor from an account in the UAE, basically suggesting that it's obviously corruption. And basically Pep's might be on the verge of leaving City. With that, because I think that's one of the 118 charges, but it wasn't released, and UEFA didn't release it until tonight.
Oh wow! Okay, so chat, do you think that's true or false? Because of course you've got to analyze a few things there. One, the context behind the situation. You've got to analyze where that money's coming from and how it directly links. Because of course it's the area. One thing, who it's coming from. Is that something that's known yet, or
let me find it?
And while you're doing that, I'd love to hear what the chat's saying about some of these things regarding City. Because listen, guys, if Pep leaves, that changes the league or our perception of the league dramatically over the next couple of seasons. And you know, right now, Louis,
Arsenal win the league.
What?
Arsenal win the league. That's what it will mean.
You think?
Yeah, they're the best prepared team apart from City. Right now.
Are you saying that because they were finishing second, or are you saying that because you genuinely think they can continue this momentum that they've built last year?
I think the fact that they've actually gone into their pockets this summer. So when the Declan Rice thing happened and they did the first two bids with the one which was too low, the second had pointless add-ons, but then they've actually turned around to West Ham and gone, actually, do you know what? We'll pay that. And they've learned from the mistake they made with Caicedo in January. Plus they've strengthened the midfield. Plus they're bringing in Julian Timber. And they're just basically getting that quality and depth now. Yep. I mean, it might not be a flash in the pan. We've got to see how they contend with Champions League and playing on Sunday. Because obviously in the Europa League, they're kind of just putting out, you know, the Eddie Nketiahs, and even though he obviously did replace Jesus for a period and was fantastic, but they put out, you know, the Eddie Nketiahs players which weren't going to start every week in the Premier League. Now they're going to be playing Champions League football and playing the top team in Europe. It might be a different case, but we'll have to see. I personally, I don't think we're going to be anywhere near top four. We're in this Twitter space. We're just saying it. I don't think we're going near it. But I reckon you lot, will just edge it, but only because that whole midfield is brand new. I think it's going to give their time to glue. But then I think after that, it'll just, you know.
So you think that we're going to finish in top four?
Yeah. I think it's, so the top four is, I think it's going to be City, Arsenal. This is based on right now, you know, August 31st. I might be saying something different, depending on who people say. But right now, I think it's also interchangeable, obviously. I'm not saying this is the top four. I reckon it'll be City, Arsenal, City, Arsenal, United, Newcastle going for those other two spots. I think it's those five. I think we're going to probably just about maybe get fifth or sixth, purely because we've got the same problem we had last year, except in reverse. So where we signed too many players last year, we've now shifted everyone out, but done it too quickly. So we've basically been asset stripped. So Todd Bowley, Egbali, Winstanley, all these guys have gone in and gone, right, any players over 200 grand a week, apart from Reece James, are gone pretty much now, all of them. So now it's a case of, right, we've got all those players have gone, which is good because a lot of them didn't want to be there. But at the same time, whilst we've been asset stripped, we've also lost all the seniority in the squad. So now we've got all these young players, but they don't really know what they're doing. You know, people can talk about Enzo having experience. Yeah, he's won a World Cup. He was part of the squad, but he's still 21, 22. No, you don't have any of those players around the squad like you guys do. Really smart. For example, when you signed Milner, everyone didn't make any sense. But I was like, no, but it's like you had that player of seniority within the squad who could guide people, help people through. You had him. Was Gerrard still knocking about when you signed him as well?
When we signed who? Sorry,
Milner.
No, he was just retired.
He just retired. So, okay, so
it was like the season before, yeah.
Okay, but you had Milner and you had a couple of other players knocking about.
That's right. That's right.
Who were sort of like just those senior
the experience was still there, and it added to the factor of the squad. I hear what you're saying. In terms of what you're saying about Chelsea, I think you'll be surprised. I'm not one to like to defend Chelsea. I'm sure you'll understand why, Louis. Our fan bases don't see eye to eye, you know what I mean? They don't have the professionalism of us two, where we can have a civil discussion while calling each other bellends. But it's one of those things where I think Chelsea are actually in a good combination. It's about analysing the timing of things falling together. Okay, so Tuchel comes in, wins a Champions League. Great. Everything's fine and dandy. Oh no, Ukraine, Russia, beefing, Roman Abramovich, hasta la vista. Right now, we're in the shitter. Rudiger goes, all these players goes. Right now, we need to get new players in. This guy called Todd Bowley comes in. It's a tough situation. And let's be honest, you've got to give it to Todd Bowley. I mean, although he's done it in a very unorthodox way, a very unexpected way. Oh, wow, it's been some fucking chaos since he came into the club. Not only from what he had to inherit, but from what he's had to then plaster over the cracks. So the cracks was huge. And then he went out and bought all these players. Now he's at a point where the players that was working under Tuchel is no longer working. So now some of these have to go. Some of them can stay. Thiago Silva's, Reece James. I loved Reece James's comment, by the way, because someone was like, did you see that?
That's some of the best PR I've seen over the past 12 months.
It definitely I think Reece James would say that, though.
He things he'd say it, but then at the same time, he saw that, or whether he was going with Mason, just went, let's quickly do this, have some fun.
Yeah, man. But I respect that, though. I respect it when a player has control over their account. For those who don't know what we're referencing, someone said in the comments, because obviously Havertz just joins Arsenal, and you have a tendency to switch players between clubs. So I was thinking, okay, someone on Twitter then goes something along the lines of like Reece James to Arsenal. Who says no? Reece James responds, I say no.
He's just brilliant.
The point that I'm leading to is that a player like that, he was always going to be your next captain anyway, and now it's even more certain with certain players who's gone. So he's the next captain. You've now got Pochettino, who his best ever project, really, according to a lot of people, has been with a young squad in what was Spurs. Kane weren't established properly, really. Dele Alli, of course, was bought from MK Dons. Some weren't really established, and Pochettino got the best out of all these players because these were players who was willing to listen to the manager. So you think about some of your star names, the Enzo Fernandezes of this world, Mudryk. They've now got a new coach who maximizes his ability off of working with young players. Certain people, it's like, you've probably worked in jobs that involve customer service, and you recognize you've got to work with, or you've got to handle different demographics in different ways. And it's the same in football. How are you going to deal with a James Milner opposed to a Harvey Elliott? And the same in a Chelsea reference. How are you going to deal with Thiago Silva opposed to a Levi Colwill or something like that? Just a random example. So I think Pochettino is better for this project because it's clear that your previous project weren't actually going to be so sustainable. A lot of players were older and stuff like that. So this was a fresh start that was needed. And it just so happens Deadwood's gone. Yes, no experience, but they weren't really giving him the experience, weren't helping. So now it's about building this squad with this manager who just seem to coincide with each other. But I don't know what you think about that.
No, I agree. I think the biggest issue, though, is, unfortunately, I think I'm referring.
This isn't true, by the way. He did win the league with PSG.
He did win the league with PSG. But then at the same time, that Spurs squad, when people talk about that being the best project, you're like, oh, it's great. They played great football. What do they win? And the whole reason they didn't win anything is because they didn't have anybody with said experience and that desire and that ability to get it over the line. So I think obviously we'll have to see what happens with that. But obviously, if that's his best project, which it is realistically, we've now got to see how he transitions that into Chelsea, and also if he'll get the time. Because I'm referring to Twitter space again. but someone mentioned a very famous quote from David Gold, which is very true, which is football fans are like mushrooms. They're put in the dark and fed shit. So we can pretend we know what's going on. We can pretend we know what's going on, but we don't. The issue is with this PR, he's got to do well very early doors. He's got to do well. Otherwise, we're going to be facing the issue of, but he's the Tottenham manager. Despite the fact, for example, it's very clear we need 3 players, right? We need a quality centre forward more than anything else in the world, because until we played Arsenal at the back end of the season, we had a better defence than them.
Yeah.
And then we just couldn't score goals. So we need a fucking centre forward. On top of that as well, we need a decent goalkeeper, not Chris Kepa. He can fucking, I can't believe he's probably my first choice again. And we need a proper defensive midfielder. So, for example, like Enzo Fernandez was sitting at the base of that 3, but realistically, he needs to sit next to somebody so he can go on and do what he needs to do his fancy passes, do whatever, because he was brilliant for us, but we still didn't see the full potential of him. But he needs a proper number 6 next to him. Now, people say it's Moises Caicedo. I don't think, like, Caicedo's not an out-and-out number 6. People describe him as Kante-esque. You don't want another player who's going to be running around. You need someone who's going to sit, mop up, so that Fernandez can not have to worry almost. You know, you'll have the 2 centre-backs behind him, you'll have a proper DM, and then Fernandez will be like, cool, we just need to do this. Knock all about whatever we need to do. And especially, if you talk about the Spurs system, it's exactly what they had. But Eric Dyer is the sitting midfielder, but then guess what? He'd drop in and make it a midfield 3, which is exactly what we need right now.
Okay.
You know, you need someone who's going to, you know, if that 3 happens, you then have the wing backs push forward, which, by the way, I think in terms of wing backs, if you look at when we had Ben Chilwell and Reece James firing on all cylinders before they ended up in fucking A&E every fucking 6 months, you know, I'd argue as a combination, they're the best wing backs in the world as a combination when they were playing at that point in time. So it's kind of okay. If you keep them fit, you have that defensive midfielder, you have Enzo Fernandez, you have whoever this number 10 is going to be, who's going to become another number 8. I don't know what it's going to be at the minute because we need one of those now because we could have completely gutted our midfield. Carney Chukwuemeka's not ready. But then you've got a front 3 of whoever the centre forward will be. People are going to throw out fancy names like Victor Osimhen, you know, Vlahovic, whoever it is. Let's find the next player who's going to cost us £750 million and a mortgage and a dog and a cat. And then you'll have Mudryk and Sterling probably on the right. So there's a side there, but we still need a couple little bits of experience in there, and I think a bit more of a bulky squad before we can even talk about Chelsea going top 4. Obviously, people will say we're playing 1 game a week, but irrespective, I just think Poch needs to hit the ground running, start doing well, but I'm worried he's not going to get the tools to do it, which means automatically it's going to have that he was the Tottenham manager whole conversation. And we're going to be
a weird one if it doesn't work out, isn't it? It's a weird one. Kind of like the Potter. It's kind of like 2 uninspiring recruitments from the owner, which won't go well for Todd if it doesn't go right in this case.
Potter is, but I think Pochettino is a good appointment.
Oh, no, I agree. I think he's great. I'm just saying if it doesn't go well, there's a lot of ammo that people can use based on the preconceptions they already had about Pochettino coming in, because a lot of people do have the stance that he's a bottling manager and he's not one to win trophies and whatnot. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Lads, my eyesight's terrible at this time of night. Like, would you be able to hear him? Because I hate missing out super chat. It's horrible. Can you read out this one for me?
Peruse. Would you take... I'm not reading that. You think he thinks I'm an idiot? Fuck off.
I tried to get you, you cunt.
I've been in this game for a decade. Do you think I'm going to fall for that?
I just thought the preemptive, like, oh, lad, my eyesight shit, can you read it? I thought it would have put you off and maybe you wouldn't have disrupted stride throughout the conversation, but you did, unfortunately. That was a big shame. That was a big shame. Hey, bro, I just want to say I'm proud of you consistently. Big up you, Ryan. Big up you. Also, it's good to see you on here, Louis. All fan bases are welcome for debate. Yeah, Louis knows he'd lose a debate. He's just here for a polite conversation. He doesn't want that smoke.
Come on, then. What do you want to talk about? You talk so much shite. Don't tell me
that I've talked shit about.
You listen.
I'm not allowed to slander on my name without evidence.
Listen, okay, the fact that you tried to use the Community Shield as a guaranteed trophy when in reality it's not, and we all know it. Okay, then. We all know you did that. Sorry?
What was the context that I used that in, though?
Let me find it. You were talking about how you'd had a better season than somebody because you won the Community Shield.
I'll tell you the context of that. I'll tell you that you don't even need to look it up, but you can do for your own reference. I use that for the fact I use that for the fact Manchester United fans were boasting about a League Cup that they won against friggin' Loris Karius. I referenced the fact we'd won a trophy. This was post-FA Cup final, by the way, so it was all relevant. I referenced that we won a trophy, that you need to win the FA Cup to get in that trophy, which United couldn't do. We needed to beat Manchester City to get that trophy, which United couldn't do. And the only thing they could do was go ahead and beat Newcastle, who we beat twice in the season.
It's the Community Shield, James.
League Cup final against Loris Karius, and that was a substance of a trophy.
Shield. It's a glorified friendly, and everyone knows it, so you can't really count it. It's written as a glorified. It's written as a glorified friendly.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Do you believe in the importance of context? If you are analysing, scripture, if you are analysing a book or of any sort, do you think it's important to know the context of the book?
Absolutely. But to counter your point on that, where you're saying you're talking about the season before we had to win the FA Cup.
Yes.
With that, to that argument, right, you could say the fact that Chelsea are still a fantastic side last year. But by your logic, Chelsea's still a great side last year because we finished 4th the season before, and then we finished 12th this year. It's stuff like that where it's like you kind of almost when the new season starts.
No, Louis, you've just misused my logic. That's the only thing I don't appreciate. So I never said we was a fantastic team for the fact we won the Community Shield. I simply suggested the idea that what United achieved in comparison to what we achieved was very minimal, and we also had the 7-0 thing. So I was very happy to exercise that. As their trophy weren't too relevant, in the same way ours weren't too relevant. It was all relevant together.
Does the League Cup does equal a European place if you don't finish top 4? Doesn't it?
It does equal a European place the same way.
It is a more relevant trophy than the Community Shield. And I wasn't saying that you were saying that you're a fantastic side from the year before. I'm just saying, like, the whole point of that whole spiel is that the Community Shield is a curtain raiser at the beginning of a season. Everybody started on 0. Obviously, you've got different things where it's like clubs have to play well, etc. But in that game, that wasn't the. I reckon if that game had been played at the end of the year, it wouldn't have been the same result. If that game had been played September, it wouldn't have been the same result. It's kind of a case of like
5 questions, and they're all yes or no. 5 questions, yes or no. That's all. Okay, then. So the first question: Did we beat City? Did we beat City?
Okay, I know where this is going. Yes.
No. You don't. Did we beat City? I just want yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. Did we beat them at Wembley?
Yes.
Did United beat City?
No.
Did they beat them at Wembley?
No.
Did they finish the season with more trophies than we did?
Yes.
How?
Because it's the League Cup counts as a trophy.
Yes, and it counts as what you would say a major trophy, but it's still a trophy nonetheless.
Okay, so if Tottenham win the Audi Cup, they have a better season than Arsenal.
I never said it. All I simply said.
Yes, if Tottenham win the Audi Cup and Arsenal don't win anything, have Tottenham had a better season than Arsenal? No. So why are they not had a better season than Arsenal?
They never achieved anything to get into the Audi Cup.
Oh, yes, they did.
What?
Sponsored by Audi.
And what football?
Had to work hard to get that sponsorship, mate. Come on, don't.
I respect it. Nobody put in the office yard. The point of that one, though, was just simply saying that we won a competition that they couldn't. Although it was a season previous, we still went and beat a team they couldn't that season. Also, we simultaneously beat them 7-0 in the same season. So if they want to claim their little European spot trophy, because by the way, it's all good celebrating Champions League, but they're celebrating Champions League the same way that a team in some random league would celebrate Champions League. Because let's be honest, Louis, they're wasting our time and themselves by being in that competition. We know they're going to get to. At least we make it worthwhile. At least we'll get it towards the end, and at least we'll make Dublin a spectacle when we get there in the Europa League. But the one thing I will also raise is that Manchester United, in many, many aspects, when they come to me and say this is the best season that they've had since Sir Alex Ferguson, and they have the same amount of trophies, fair enough. Okay, let's say they have one more trophy and we have the 7-0 win and they finish 2 places higher and this was supposed to be the almighty season. That, to me, based on context, is a big, big shame. And I think it is actually supporting my argument that little bit more.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree. I can't be on. It's 11 o'clock at night, mate.
I'm a heel digger. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. Louis, you're a legend, lad. Can you let the people know where you've just mentioned your YouTube channel, which obviously you're not posting on at the moment, but it is there, I assume.
Yes. So I obviously, when I left 100% Chelsea, I pissed off for a bit, got bored, retrained as a barber, and then I decided to start making content with football and barbering. So did that for a bit, went a bit wrong. So we're kind of in the phase of revamping it now. But in a few weeks' time, we're going to start posting again. So it'll be sort of like interviews with really cool people, and obviously football news as well. So all the typical stuff as well. But then, for example, we're going to hopefully try to get some musicians on and stuff, and some other cool people just to talk to them. A-list as well, by the way. One of which is playing in Wembley in a couple of weeks. So we're going to hopefully try and get them on, give them a trim and chat to them. And then obviously football news. I'd like to do more of these streams as well because these are fun. Fucking great. It's great shits and giggles.
Bro, we'll get this done. We'll get this done once a week. I'm starting to do more streams, more content. I'm doing it every day now. So it'd be amazing for you to be one of the shows on the channel, no doubt, Louis. And then we can do some for your channel when you obviously get back up and running.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that and all that. And then other stuff as well. Just let me know. If you need a trim and you're in London, James always needs a trim. All right. There's a reason he's wearing a hat. Just hit me up.
My man with the green eggs and the ham. Guys, go. What I'm going to do, post this. I'm going to make sure. In fact, Louis, can you let me know your YouTube channel now?
Give me a sec. Get that
just so I can put that in the title so that people can go and subscribe. Because chat, you know what I like to say, don't you? You know, when I see people investing into our channel with their time, it'd be great if they can see a return of investment by getting a few subs on their channel. So we're going to just wait a second while Louis passes us his YouTube, and then I'm going to put that in the title.
It's been so long since I've uploaded on that channel, right, that I've now been logged out of my account.
It's no worries. If you want, you can tell me after, and we'll get that in.
Oh my God, something noise. I found it. Here you go. I'll put it. Always put in the private chat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's sound. Okay, right.
That's me.
Grand. Right, chat. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put that. No, I didn't mean to click on it. I'm gonna put that in the chat so you can just go directly to it, guys. Don't be stingy. Go subscribe. Do it for me. But don't make me a disappointment and videos all up and then you don't go subscribe. Make sure you go do it. Right. I'm going to put that in the chat.
If you lot get me to a K within this, get me to a K this evening, and then I'll say me and James figure out when the next stream is. Then James could be the first stream on my channel when get that going.
There's the incentive. If that's not a good enough one, then what is? Yeah. But anyway, guys, it's been an hour stream. Great. And Louis obviously came in flying colours, smashing debut. Can't wait to do more. Should be every Tuesday, but if anything changes, we'll keep you updated with that. But yeah, from me, I love you all, and I'm going to miss you until tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow, and I hope to see you tomorrow. But that's me. Louis, have you got anything to say?
Yeah, Chelsea is shit. And
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea and bye.